So just in, we have a whole lot of news of confirmed dates and new events for Throne and Liberty. Later today we get update 1.8 and this will bring a massive change to all your weapons and skills with the confirmed balance update. I've already covered this in a previous video and you're probably aware of the majority of it, but we'll go through it later on in this video. They also just posted their November 2024 update. So let's get into the details. First things first, the 2-star dungeons. 4 of them are releasing just tomorrow, November the 21st. But that means we'll be missing out on some gear. But the next one's coming November the 5th. So not too far away. They did post a dev blog on this. We'll be getting Carmine Rage Island, Void Wastes, Island of Terror, Valley of Slaughter, and the final one confirmed to arrive December the 5th. There will be new gear added along with world boss specific gear, but no world boss weapons. This is already expected as per what we see on the Korean server, with Void Wastes dropping the arms, Island of Terror the chest pieces, Valley of Slaughter the head pieces, and Carmine Rage Island the boots. The only thing we'll miss coming December the 5th will be the Torture Chamber of Screams dropping those leg pieces, which means yes, you're going to have to wait on your Shadow Harvester trousers until December the 5th. Same with those Field General Greaves until we actually get that new 2-star dungeon. This is confirmed in the update details right here. Existing 2 to 4 set bonus equipment along with new accessories will be added as rewards. Be aware you need 2500 combat power in order to enter. But moving on, there will be a new feature called Dimensional Trials. These will allow you to have an additional challenge and take away additional rewards. And this is going to be their promised repeatability dungeon experience. There is no confirmation on what exact rewards we're getting other than we can always enter and we will always be able to get rewards. And this is arriving December the 5th. So that will come along with the new dungeon. Be aware, increasing the difficulty tier will increase the strength of enemies and also boss patterns. The next thing announced is War Games. This is essentially battlegrounds, but you will be able to create custom lobbies for Conquest Battles. You can see the notes for that here, and it's coming December the 5th. You will be able to play cross-server, both for public and private matches, and choose a boonstone or a rift stone and have that as your arena. You can select the number of teams, how many players in each team, and you can even have people as spectators. As per the update notes, we can see more details on inter-server Conquest Battles. You will be controlling rift stones and boon stones on a bi-weekly cross-server competition for additional rewards. The rift stones will be a conflict mode boss fight corresponding with your rift stone to get, say, loot drops and lucent generated by auction house taxes. Boon stones will be an inter-server dynamic event corresponding to your boon stone, and the winning guild will receive an amount of lucent generated by auction house taxes. So this should be a bit of fun for guilds. The next feature is Silicium Sage. This will allow you to basically foster new players. So you're going to pull them into your fold, you're going to help them learn the game, ultimately have a custom chat channel with them, and also have yourself displayed on the minimap with a unique icon. We have a lot of extra details here with the update notes. So characters eligible to obtain the Sage status will have to be level 50, have completed Act 10, and yeah, all these other following things. A new button and icon will appear at the top left of your character sheet, allowing eligible characters to enable or disable the Sage status. And characters who want to be then a Sprout, so the new player, they will lose that specific status when they achieve those goals. Both Sages and Sprouts will receive a title and a profile border to display your status. There are new map markers, and as we already mentioned, a new chat channel. You can leave a like as a commendation on the character's cards to indicate helpfulness. So I am not sure what's the point of this other than getting some increased status. There's no real rewards for the Sage or the Sprout. But then we have an upcoming winter event. This will have lots of gifts and rewards and is coming December the 12th. And that pretty much wraps up their November update for 2024. However, let's get into the beef of the update notes for 1.8. We have all of those weapon changes. The balance in combat has been adjusted, several skill errors were fixed, and new specializations were added for some weapon skills and changing some values. For your sword and shield, your stalwart bastion ability will get a new specialization, which will reduce the cooldown by 15 seconds. And that'll cost you 5 specialization points. Then your Greatsword, your blood devotion ability, will get a new specialization to reduce its cooldown, decreasing it by 15 seconds and again costing 5 specialization points. Your devoted shield will now show the skill range while you have this specialization. Your precision dash will now count as a fury attack, so people will be able to dodge it probably a bit more easier when you have the bind specialization. And then your vital force just had a quick tooltip update with the max HP limit. Then for your daggers, your vampiric strike was just updated a bit. It's a very underused ability, but its base damage is getting increased and also the heal effect. The specialization is also getting increased. You can see more details on the maximum values just there. But then your frenzied sword dance, this will be getting a new specialization, which will allow you to cause more area effect damage. All enemies within 3 meters will take 60% base damage. Costs 3 specialization points. And then your knife throwing is getting a bit of a buff, as it will go to like 82.5% reduction to incoming healing on the targets you hit. This is one of many reductions to the effectiveness of healers in PvP, as you will see. We move on to the crossbow, and this has a change to selfless diffusion. They've gone and removed the specialization called remove CC. This is actually getting moved over to mana exchange. It's actually pretty nice, which means you'll have a lot lower cooldown on the ability to remove CC, and that costs 7 specialization points. That is actually a pretty huge buff. You can use Selfless Diffusion offensively and just have mana exchange as your CC break, and you could probably have a super low cooldown on this one now, so that's pretty huge. Explosive Trap just got an increase to the base duration, improved the duration of the specialization. You can see more details on that just here. And then Multi-Shot will now decrease Nimble Leap's cooldown by 15 seconds when used, which will basically then reset the cooldown of Nimble Leap every time you use it. Kind of huge. Crossbow definitely got some big buffs here. And they even more so did when we look at Longbow's devoted shield change. Looking at Longbow then, you can see Healing Touch was nerfed to now share a cooldown with the swift healing skill from the wand. This means they won't stack and you can't make use of both at the same time. You have to choose between the two. And Purifying Touch did get buffed so that it will now cleanse the maximum stacks of weakened effects. So rather than just one, you could clear all 20. But then the big change to Devoted Shield. This is their passive ability, which was able to trigger every time you received a weaken effect. This is getting changed, so now it creates a 3-second shield when you drop below 30% health, and has a 60-second cooldown. However, the shield size is actually getting increased to 6,500 when you upgrade it to maximum. Then we move to the staff. A bunch of updates here with their abilities, with serial fire bombs. There's a specialization focused fire bombs, which can reduce the effect of healing on your target by 80%. This, as I mentioned already, is then another nerf for the effectiveness of healers in PvP. Then your Inferno Wave, they just adjusted the specialization to have 1 base activation and 1 additional activation for if wet and frost is on the target. Chain Lightning, they fixed the specialization so it no longer activates the crossbow's Mother Nature's bowstring effect. And then the Ice Spear, they fixed an issue where the frost was applied for a shorter duration than intended, and they fixed so that the bind was ignoring your defense and resistances. Your Judgment Lightning now has consecutive use and an additional 80% chance to debuff the shield block chance by 30% for 4 seconds. This means it will be very effective at like killing tanks. You'll cast this on them. If you cause that effect, they'll be a lot less likely to block your attacks. And then Infernal Meteor, they increase the damage of the specialization, and you can see like the damage values increase there at their maximum. This is when you have it on level 5. And then your Frost Master will now, when landing a basic attack, inflict frost on the targets within 3 meters for 3 seconds, but does not stack. Then we get into the wand details. So this is again gonna give a massive buff to cleansing with Clay's Salvation, removing all of the weakened stacks instead of just one. Your time for punishment, the specialization burning time, will now add a debuff to shield block chance. I believe the details of that right here was a 20% reduction to shield block chance. Again, another way to like debuff tanks so they're easier to kill. Then Karmic Haze, they just fixed an issue where it would ignore the spread chance in some cases and adjusted to ignore shield block. Ray of Disaster got a massive improvement. Now if the target dies, it will transfer to an additional target within 10 meters. And then there's the specialization expand targets will now provide a 10 meter of bonus range, increase from just 5, with the specialization move speed reduction now being 30% instead of just 15. That's a pretty massive improvement to this effect and can be quite annoying when you're going to be getting slowed by 30% with this effect on you, along with the range being significantly further. And then Swift Healing will now share a cooldown with the Longbow skill Healing Touch, as we already seen earlier. So you can't use a bow and a wand as effectively as you could before. Yes, you will still gain from the bow the ability with like Purifying Touch and like Blitz, and then in GVG you also have, say, Flash Wave, which can support just dealing a ton of damage from afar. But that is everything for this update in terms of the weapon skill and balance changes. We have some minor details here, some extra notes with the random matchmaking going to parties of 4, so you can join more of your friends when queuing up here at random to get these bonus rewards. That's a great addition. You can now actually use alliance chat. You can type /AL and chat with all of your friendly guilds. They adjusted some of the colors of the chat and the UI can now be moved. They adjusted the portal for the peace mode bosses so that, say, in Junobote, the portal will actually be outside the PvP area. It was silly when it wasn't. And then your annoying battle pass red notification dot will not be there if there's actually nothing to claim. You'd get this all the time. It just shows up here. Let's say you had nothing to actually claim. It still shows a red icon and there's nothing here. I assumed maybe it was I could buy stuff here, and so it was notifying me that I had these stars, but yeah, apparently that's actually a bug and it should no longer hassle you. And that's it for update 1.8 in Throne of Liberty. Pretty massive, especially with the November details here with release notes of upcoming content on top of that. Thanks all for watching. We'll see you guys around. Goodbye for now.